Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another PHNX Rising podcast. I'm happy to be here. My name is Ramon Chavez, and alongside me is my partner, Owain Evans. Owain, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, especially because we're joined by the presence of one of our favorites back here.
The iconic. We'll talk about him a little bit later. And also in the house, he's back in the house, Edwin Perez, El Jefe. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did not get the memo of the red jerseys today. I'm a little disappointed.
Sent it in the group chat. It's not our fault.
But is it an England shirt?
It's not an England shirt.
There we go. Well, it's an improvement.
Exactly. It's an improvement. But
you can come back next week.
Yeah, next time just shoot me a text. To say red is the color we're wearing today, and I would have done it.
Oh my! You got the PHNX shirt though, which I like.
Oh yeah, always got to represent. It's not the Rising one yet, but we're getting there.
We'll get there step by step. All right, y'all. Well, I do want to shout out our viewers currently. Michael, PHX Rising Nation, long time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast and PHNX Sports. That way we can continue to grow. We can continue to have more Phoenix Rising fans here with us, and we can just have more fun, right, Owen? So
yeah,
wear more shirts. Have all the England shirts here. So my bad. But yeah, make sure to do that before you leave today. And also, just want to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, y'all. So, one more thing before we start the show. You got to plug the shirt, man. Our PHNX Rising podcast shirt. Edwin, if you got the graphic, we can put it on. If not, we can put it on later. So, but if you guys haven't, go to phnxlocker.com and grab those T-shirts. They're shipping out already. So make sure to grab them. It helps us out here at the PHNX Rising podcast. We do have a great show for you today. We have a very special segment. If you guys follow us on Twitter, PHNX__rising.
Double the underscores for double the fun.
You guys may have noticed that we asked you guys to send us your question for today's show. We're going to call it the Burning Questions Mailbag. And if you haven't yet, make sure to check us out on Twitter. Again, PHNX__rising. We took those questions, we put them in a mailbag, and we're going to put Owen over here in the hot seat. Yeah, look at that sigh. He's not ready for it.
I'm used to asking the questions. I mean, this is different. Okay.
Awesome. And then right after that, we're going to be talking Louisville City versus Phoenix Rising this Saturday. Are you excited for that? I'm kind of pumped, man. We're going to have fans out there. It's going to be a great event.
But there's not going to be any beer.
Oh.
I mean, the fans are going to have to. The fans are going to have to watch it as straight edge as we have to, and that's. Ooh, it's going to be a different environment, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think they're doing like a pregame, right?
Yeah, they are.
So do that, and then maybe after the game, we can all grab a beer. Let's do that. All right, y'all. So it's going to be a great game, and if you haven't purchased your tickets to the game, there's plenty of tickets still available. And like Owen said, no beer this time. But for the regular season, pretty sure we're going to have some, right?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a problem for the regular season is what I've been told.
Sounds good. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started with the Burning Questions Mailbag. This was a really popular question, and I'm going to let Owen handle it. I'm going to put him on the hot seat. So, Owen, what is your all-time Rising 11? Let's start off with that one.
So you're really putting me in the controversial one to start off here. It was by request of people on Twitter when they were talking about this. We are expanding it out. It's not just going to be Phoenix Rising. We're going to include Arizona United.
Okay.
Unfortunately, while I have seen bits of every season of Arizona United, I didn't watch any of the Phoenix Wolves back in 2013. So that one's a little bit before my time. I can't.
I'm sorry.
And it's USL. That stuff doesn't really exist to look back properly at it.
True.
It's hard. but I can give you some insight on all the following seasons. So let's start with the goalkeeper, right?
Okay.
Who comes to mind immediately? I'm intrigued what you think here when we say goalkeeper for Phoenix Rising.
The one that sticks out to me is Waz. That's my
is my goalkeeper.
There you go.
There is not a guy who has spent more seasons in goal with this club than Karl Wazinski, right? He joined as Arizona United back in 2015. He stayed with them through into the end of the 2019 season when he retired because he'd had some injury problems. But there is no one more iconic, and I see all the Waz's just coming in now.
Bring those comments in. Keep commenting. There you go.
Indeed. But there's no one more iconic in that goal. I mean, the only guy you could maybe kind of put in as well in that conversation is a guy like Zach Lubin, which, yes, he's very iconic again as a rising goalkeeper, but he just hasn't got the service time, right? If you had to pick between the two, and it can be a hard choice sometimes, it has to be Waz. So moving now into the defense, and actually at this point, I'm going to caveat some things here. I'm putting this team together kind of like it's a fantasy team. I'm not picking players that are specifically going to play well together, maybe. And I'm also not putting them together in a formation that Rising plays. I'm going with the old school 4-4-2. Okay,
I like that
because that works out better with the players I want to put in here.
Edwin's not happy about it, but
Edwin's not happy about it. So centre backs, the two players that stand out to me here, one of whom, if I say him, you're going to know him. You may well know him if you're more recent following the club as a coach, actually, rather than as a centre-back. But he played for the team in 2017 and for part of 2016. Is Peter Ramage.
We need Edwin in here because this is before my time.
Edwin's enjoying these. Edwin, hop in.
Yeah, sorry. No, I actually like the pick. Listen, when I was thinking about center backs, this was the position that I took the longest with, and I didn't think Ramage should not come to my head right away. But then it's like Owain just brought back a memory, and I think it's deservedly so. Ramage at the center back. I like where you started. That's all I'm going to say.
He's liking where this is going, right?
Rambo.
It's good. Rambo, yeah. The other centre back I'm going to go with is someone who actually spent a very short period of time with Phoenix Rising. But I think that his contribution on the field, you really can't understate it. He was a very, very good player. It was very clear that he, frankly, deserved to be playing at a higher level than he did here. And he is now playing at a higher level. He's just signed a deal with MLS. So I'm going to go with Damian Lowe. That didn't get quite as enthusiastic.
Edwin, get back in here. Get back in here.
All right, I'm making sure the fans, get their comments before I do. But I don't know. I feel like some people are gonna not be too enthusiastic because they're gonna think about how long they spent and what they meant over a period of time. So maybe that's why it's a little unpopular. But if we're talking about talent-wise on the field and who's played in a Rising shirt, that's deservingly so. I mean, you see it. He plays internationally, and he did well over here.
Indeed. Now, this one took some time thinking about who I wanted to go for. I'm going to go with the right back now. And this one did take some time to work out what exactly I wanted to go with because there were two people in my mind that stood out here. But I'm going to go with the guy who's currently here. I'm going to go with Darnell King. I think that Darnell King's performances last season warrant his inclusion. Now, the guy who I was debating over whether I'd put him ahead of him was Mustafa Dumbuya, who I think from that 2019 season put in a fantastic year. But ultimately, I think that Darnell King just about edges him. It's close, though. That one's really tight.
That's a tight one. But, I mean, he's a man who might be the upcoming captain, as you teased. And I think you include to what we expect him to do this year, I think it's going to take over, and emphasize and kind of make it a good pick of what you did right there.
So then, left back. Here's the one that's going to cause a bit of controversy with what we're talking about later. But who would it be other than Amadou Dia, really?
That's true.
I mean, this is a guy who he left everything on the field, and you know that. Every time he went out there, he was also the first guy in a fight every time, which is just, everyone needs that on a team, right?
You need that guy,
Everybody needs that guy.
Exactly.
Okay? I mean, now there's a couple of them who kind of fill that role, I guess. Joey Farrell and Asante kind of does it on times, but probably Farrell more than...
Well, last game, I think when Njai got pushed down by Zuzi, Asante was the first one there, and then he got pushed back a little bit. So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
But I think that Dia, just the time that he spent with the club, the achievements the club had with him here, and the fact that he did leave everything out on the field. I think what merits his inclusion there.
Gotcha. And we'll be talking about
thumbs up. That's all I got to say about that. Thumbs up. I don't think it's as controversial as you think it is.
No
at
scoff
least for
on
me.
this one.
Yeah, no scoff, no excited reaction. Just Owen knows his stuff.
Right, midfield, central midfield. This one took some thinking. It really did take some thinking because while one of these was very obvious, I'm about to say his name. There's no point in really. Everyone knows. You're gonna pick Kevin Lambert, aren't you? I mean, this guy has been here since. Again, he's the only player on the roster currently that's actually been with this team longer than I've been writing about this team. So
that speaks to
the amount of time that he's spent here. How critical he's been to the team in that holding midfielder position over that period of time. You just couldn't pick anyone else. The other midfield position, this really did take some thinking about how I was going to go with this, but I think just purely on talent over the past year, I'm going to go with Aidan Quinn.
Ooh. I mean, he was named to the USL All-League team. So
indeed, and he was the team MVP last year.
Team MVP?
I'm intrigued what Edwin has to think about that one.
You see, that one, it's hard because with this midfield, Lambert was the only for sure one. Aidan Quinn, I think after another year, I would include him for sure. To include him right now, I think it's a little bit of a controversial one. Maybe one that I would go with, but at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with the talent that he is, the skills that he has, and what he's going to mean to the midfield, not only last year, but what he'll mean this year.
Okay. I think Michael agrees too on the comment section. Yeah, let us know if you agree with Owen's stuff.
If you disagree, then please
let him know.
Yeah, let him know. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I'm happy to take on arguments with people in the comments. I shouldn't have said that because I know what I'm going to get now. Yeah, it's the same as when I said, send me all your dumb ideas for T-shirts.
Oh, my God.
Okay, what else have we got? Right, the wingers.
Okay.
I mean, the first guy speaks for himself, and it's Solomon Asante, right?
Of course, have to be.
This is someone who is a two-time MVP, captained this squad through its most successful period in history, which is pretty much since it became Phoenix Rising. He joined in 2018.
Yeah.
He, just you really can't understate how important he's been to this team. And I know we went into that on that first podcast when the news had only very recently come out that he wasn't returning. But you really just can't underestimate the leadership qualities he brought, but also, his goal scoring and his assist, his chance creating is just brilliant. And whoever's saying Bailey Forbes now, just please, just no, no. I'm sorry, Jet, no.
I get him upset. Yeah.
Now,
keep it going.
On the other wing, I'm going to go, again, maybe it's the recency bias here, but I'm going to have to go with Santi Moa. I think that someone who has embraced this club so well since coming over from a rival, and not only that, but over the last season, the way he would just pick this team up on his back and just carry them over the line in a lot of games. He's just a fantastic player. Yeah, there have been some other good wingers throughout Rising's history, but I'm putting Santi in there.
Yeah. Any others that might have kind of, because that position's been loaded with Rising, so
it has been. I tell you what, I'll get into that one because I'm going to name a bench as well. I'm going to have a cop out. I'm going to name a bench.
Okay, all right.
No, but you had to include Santi. I mean, he's part of the reason why you're kind of a little bit okay with losing Solo. It kind of clears the blow a little bit. So Santi, the MVP guy, a guy you're going to have to rely on a lot this year, and not only does he mean a lot to the team on the field, but off the field. I mean. And also, we don't want to get our first guest on the podcast mad, Yeah. We brought him on, and we're going to exclude him from the squad. That would not be a good
No one wants
look.
to get into a fight with Santi Moa, I'll say that.
Exactly, so we're not going to do that.
Least of all, Corey Herzog. But moving on then, I've got two people left, and I'm putting both of these as strikers.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going to pick the guy who is iconic in three ways.
Okay.
When he was here, he did contribute. Despite what people might say about the fact he didn't play as many games as he should have, when he was here, he scored goals. Okay, there's a guy who scored, I believe, at one point, one of the season's 10 goals in 14 games. On Rising's run to the first final that they made, he scored in all the playoff games to get them there. He's also brought a substantial amount of leadership and just motivation in the locker room and raised the club's profile globally. It's Didier Drogba. Of course it is.
Of course.
Of course it has to be Didier Drogba.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Sorry,
I was waiting for Edwin to hop in there.
Listen, I thought that was like the for sure guaranteed. Like, there's no doubt. I think if you left him off, everyone would have been mad at you in the comments. And I mean, even without even touching the pitch, Didier deserved to be on this squad and what he's meant for the club. So, I mean, he's the magic man. He was the magic man before solo magic truly took over.
100%. I mean, there's no one who really compares to that kind of star power that's played in this league, is there? Nobody.
Omar Bravo? No? Nobody?
No.
No one's taking that one? Okay.
I'm not sure he'd be the most popular back there. Now, the other guy, we've got all the jokes coming in. You know what? And this was hard because there have been some really good strikers who've played for this team, sorry. But in 2015, Arizona United was bad, okay? They were bad. They had a minus 24 goal difference. They only scored 31 goals all year. And who put this team on his back and scored 14 goals over 27 games? It's our guy by here. It's Long Tan. And so for that reason, I think Long Tan has to be in that team.
He's clear. As Michael said, he's clear. I mean, why would we bring an image of the legend Long Tan and not show... We got to show appreciation for what he meant. Imagine a current Rising squad with that Long Tan. That would have been a great addition. It would have been a legendary. So, like you mentioned, he was clinical. On a team that he needs to be clinical, he was clinical, so you had to add him.
There's a reason that he has the reputation that he has, and it's not just because everyone loves him. Like he did actually do a job in
pretty
this.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's been capped by China since, he's a full international, There's all the bring back Long Tan, everyone is Long Tan to Phoenix. Yes, Justin, yes.
Breaking news.
Absolutely.
And what's your bench? What's going on?
All right, my bench. So there's no real fixed number I had on this bench. I just started to think of some people.
Yeah.
I think that as a goalkeeper, you've got to have Zach Lubin on that bench. I think that his contribution to this team over multiple years, we've had to put Waz in there because of the amount of time that he was here. Mm-hmm. But Lubin was always battling with him in that 3 seasons. 2 seasons they overlapped. Mm-hmm. And then Zach had the extra season at the end. Yeah, they were always battling for that starting spot. And frankly, at times, Zach was, sometimes when he was on form, he was a better goalkeeper even. There were times when he was unlucky, perhaps, in the run into the 2018 final that he got injured, especially in the way that he did and leaving the scar on his face that it did. I mean, that was a nasty one. But yeah, Zach Lubin's got to be on the bench. I think as a defender, I'll get there eventually. As a defender, I did see the name pop up in the chat earlier. I think that someone who should be included is Corey Whelan. I think that he...
Towards the beginning, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really early doors because we were talking about the defenders pretty early. But I think Corey Whelan... Yeah, Michael, there we go. It's a rare case that I admit that Michael might have gotten something right. But yeah, I'd have to go for Corey Whelan as an option there. I think that he showed that he is capable of playing at a higher level than here. Mm-hmm. I think that when he came in that 2019 season, I think that things would have been worse had he not come in with the way that the defense was and all of that. Other players that I'm thinking now for the bench. He was mentioned, I'll check a striker in now. He was mentioned in the chat as well. We're going to go with Chris Cortez.
I like him. I like them a lot. Yeah.
Chris Cortez, who is now out in Monterey Bay. He's just signed for them. So we'll see him back here.
Yeah, we'll see him in March.
Indeed, we will. And I'm sure I had someone else and I've forgotten them now. So I'm just going to... Well, I had 2 more people, I think. I'm just going to throw the one more in. Yep. And the one more here is the guy that is the most versatile player on this team. Okay? And he's still here. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who, if you need a right back, he's there. If you need a central midfielder, he's there. You need a winger, he's there. You need someone who is going to make New Mexico drop points. And if he's done that on multiple occasions, how can you leave him out? We're going to have to put Joey Calistri in. Ooh. Solely for the number of times that he has caused New Mexico to drop points.
Edwin.
Solely for the number of times he's caused New Mexico to drop points.
I mean, I think just for the culture and just clutch Calistri. I mean, You got to include him. I mean, he's like the Band-Aid that you just whatever you need.
Everything's going wrong against New Mexico. You throw him out there, and he will find 2 goals.
He will.
I don't know where he's finding them from, but he will find you 2 goals. He did it to San Diego as well. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you have to include him on the bench. I mean, I didn't want to add any comments because I want to see the rest of the bench. I didn't know how many people you had.
No, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. But he's got to be on the bench, not least because you need to bring him on when you need a goal late in the game.
I agree. You got to.
History.
Wow, only a bench of 3. I expected a little more from you. Maybe Arturo.
He's got like 6, right?
No,
5, 6?
4.
Oh, 4.
Oh, yeah, because I had the goalkeeper.
So before we move on
defender,
to the next question, Owen, who is someone that's kind of on the fence of cracking either the bench or the 11 that's on the current squad?
Oh, on the current squad. Ooh.
For me, it's Arturo, depending on this season.
Depending on this, I was going to say the guy who's on the edge there is James Musa, I think, who's in the current squad, who's literally on the brink of cracking it.
Gotcha.
To me, it's probably James Musa.
Nice.
Although I think you're right, though. If Arturo puts in a great season this year, then he has to be in that conversation as well.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so let's move on to the second question. Is Phoenix Rising actively pursuing an MLS bid? Now, I might grill you on this one because I kind of want an answer, not a vague answer. So let's hear it. This
is the complicated bit, isn't it? I think that all of the lines that I've heard are that they're balancing. They're playing a balancing act, right? It's not that the ownership aren't interested in pursuing an MLS bid. It's that MLS does what it wants and talks to who it feels like talking at any given time. And I'm sorry, Edward, because I know you said you didn't want us to talk about a certain single entity league, and he's just dropping stuff in the chat now, like, don't do it, I warned you. Listen, right? Ultimately, from what I gathered, they are more interested in ensuring that the foundations for a club are in place here than just pursuing a top flight spot.
And when you say foundation, what are you referring to? Is it like an academy? Is it the
there's
stadium site?
There's lots of things that happen. There's lots of aspects to a club, and it is the stadium. It is the growing the team as big as you can get it at any given level, making sure that you grow that supporter base, that you have the academy structure in place, because you need that going forward regardless of what level you're going to play in. But I think that just the pure uncertainty around how many expansion spots are ultimately available, where exactly they want to go. I mean, at the moment, it looks like it's Vegas, maybe. I mean,
Sacramento fell through.
Sacramento fell through. Is it Vegas now?
Does that worry you that Vegas is kind of like so close? Because I think one of the advantages was that there was this big gap between California and Texas, but now Vegas is kind of peeping their head in there. Are you worried that they're kind of taking that, one of the main, bullet points or attractions to having an MLS team in Phoenix?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that not necessarily, because there's a lot of...
I love that comment.
I'm sorry.
Don't put it up, Edwin.
For people who can't see the comments, they just...
Wait, can I say bad words in here? You can. I don't know if we'll put them up.
Yeah, you can, Justin. Don't worry. But, I don't think necessarily, because I think you have to consider that will people in Vegas support a Phoenix team and vice versa? And the answer to that is no.
I don't think
so. Like, people in Las Vegas are not going to go, oh, yeah, I want to support Phoenix Rising. Okay? Yeah. At the moment, they don't even support Las Vegas Lights. Ooh. So, I'm just going to put it that way. Which, to be fair, if you had them as your club.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah. The only professional club that I know of, at least, that has been given an official warning by the FAA. But, I think it's interesting, because I think there's still that space open if MLS wants, but it's all does MLS want to?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money to get in.
A
lot of money to get in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're hoping. I'm crossing my fingers.
You're hoping. I know a lot of people are not hoping. I'm ambivalent.
I like that. What does it say? Phoenix Rising is gonna be the villains too before we all know it. So
no, I'm not.
we'll see.
I mean, I don't know if we're not joining Lawrence Gerard's new league, unfortunately, Edward.
I mean, there's plenty of like billionaires here in Scottsdale, at least, so maybe we should get to talking to one of them. But all right, awesome. All right, Owen. So if there's not an MLS bid, will Rising invest in a stadium much like Louisville and San Antonio? Hey, that Louisville stadium, I was checking it out. It's pretty nice.
It is a nice stadium.
Yeah.
That bit I can't tell you. I do know that at the very least, every impression that I've gotten from the ownership group here is that they have no willingness to just abandon ship in the eventuality that the carrot of MLS disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because a lot of those guys, frankly, would get dwarfed out if they got to MLS, right? There's a lot of minority owners who are all very active, and ultimately a lot of the ownership group is very active. Okay, they get very hands-on with different pieces. But, a lot of them would get dwarfed out if they went to MLS because it's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
So much money, and probably a lot of them would get bought out. Other people would come in. I think that ultimately they are here to stay, and they want to do the best that they can at this level, and they want to be the best team they can be at this level. So the quite specifics over will they look to pursue a new stadium? Will they do this? Will they do that? Those are questions that are unfortunately a bit beyond us, especially because right now all of this is very speculative. We don't. I mean, we don't know why. Maybe the Vegas deal falls through, and then MLS comes crawling back here, and we no idea what's going to happen.
I mean, people didn't expect the Sacramento thing to fall through.
No, not at all. And then it just fell through like that. So
for sure,
it's hard to tell. But I think that the bigger question there of will Phoenix Rising disappear if MLS carrot disappears? The answer to that is I don't believe that they will.
Gotcha. How do you rank the new stadium at Wild Horse Pass compared to all the other teams in the USL?
And that's a really interesting one because you've got so many different tiers of stadiums in this league, right? So many different tiers. When you go from places like Cashman Field and until very recently several other baseball stadiums, I mean, no one likes playing in baseball stadiums. They're awful.
So top 10, top 5?
That's hard because I've not been to all of them. And even some of the ones that I've been to, they've replaced them with other stadiums now. And I think the key thing is you kind of want to be pursuing that kind of a Orange County, as much as it pains me to say it, their actual stadium, if they don't have the fan base to fill it regularly, is not that permanency.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want the permanency. And you want the permanency of a place like Colorado Springs' new stadium, right? You don't want that with... No, Justin, you don't want Oakland's pitch, okay? But, it's you just want that permanency that's a bit more than almost the pop-up stadium that they currently play in and have played in now for a few years in different locations. You want that level of permanency, and yes, they've gotten bits of it now. You've got actual permanent restrooms and plumbing, which is a nice change over what they used to have at Casino Arizona Field, but it's still not quite there, is it?
Yeah, okay. Moving on, do you have one realistic signing for Rising to make this season? So it doesn't have to be so it could be a specific player or an archetype of a player.
Long tan.
Long tan.
Oh my god! Why are you egging people on, Edwin? Come on.
Remarkably, you've said that in a season when Rising actually has multiple options at striker. So probably not this year. No. If you could convince him back though, that one's down to you. I think that as a player, the player you need right now, and it's simply for depth, you need a centre-back. You need a centre-back because of the injury problems, because of just the fact that, you're still reliant on Niles stepping up even if he was fit. You're reliant on Manuel being ready to go. And a lot of these things we got question marks over. And I think that another centre-back is needed. I kind of said on our last podcast, I said that I thought that the kind of guy you've got to be looking for, maybe someone who's got a bit more pace at the back. To name a specific person, I don't even know where to go with this one.
Well, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But definitely a centre-back.
I mean, they'll just bring Virgil van Dijk in, right? Yeah, Rising. If money's no object, they can do whatever. But
hey, to be fair,
the specific player, I don't know. I guess, for USL.
You don't want to bring a former kind of number 9 to put as a wing back kind of. keep adding on. Come on now.
Yeah, to be fair, I like Trialist 76 that was over there at the game against Sporting.
Mr. 2.
I'm a Mr. 4 kind of guy.
Yeah. So.
All right. So let's see. Scott Summers. I had high hopes for Madrid, but he just doesn't seem to be clicking. Am I right? Too soon?
Ooh.
From what we discussed last week, he didn't get a lot of playing time, and then this season, he only got like 15 minutes, and then he got injured. So just hasn't been able to be on the field.
I think it's a lot of it is probably game time hasn't helped at all. And so I think it's harsh sometimes to just put it specifically on him that, you know. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he hasn't quite lived up, I think, to what people were expecting. And we need him to step up this season, really, especially if he is, third in the pecking order in terms of centre backs.
For sure. What are your 5 Western Conference top 5 predictions? So top 5 teams.
Now this is where it gets controversial. I'm probably going to miss out people that I should pick. So Rising are going to be in the top 5. Okay. I don't think there's a question mark over that at all. If they're not, I think there are going to be very serious conversations come the end of the season, because that would be a calamity by Rising standards. I think that Sacramento this year, if it clicks, have to be included in the top 5. I think that Colorado Springs have to be in your top 5, especially with the kind of quality they've got in the attack there. You got Hadji Berry and others there. I think that they have to be a top 5 team. I think that El Paso, there are question marks because of the managerial change. We don't quite know what we're going to see out of them yet. But again, this is a team that has a lot of success, that is always fighting up there at the top. If they're not up there at the top come the end of the season, I'd be shocked. So I think they will be in there. And then if I need to pick one more,
not the returning champs. Not the champs.
No, I don't think that Orange County will be, because I don't think that Orange County were that good in the regular season last year anyway, and they weren't that good in the playoffs. They won 2 games on penalties. It is what it is.
Yeah.
They had a good game in the final, but again, they scored a few goals. Tampa didn't adjust. That's pretty much what happened.
But over the course,
I think you'd be more likely to see. Ooh, you really got me on this 15. You really got me on this 15. I don't know. Has anyone else got anything on this one?
You don't want to back Wangera and the Oakland Roots boys?
I'm not sure that I would at this point. I think they might be a playoff team, but I think top 5 might be a stretch. I mean, look, I'm really intrigued to see what he does there. I think that there's definitely the bones of a team there, and I think that he as a coach is a good coach, but I'm not sure they're top 5. I mean, if you were to go... The problem is that whoever I pick for number 5, and I mean, Scott's just put one there, San Diego.
Fair.
Whoever you pick, I think San Diego's a fair pick, and I think someone like, and as much as it pains me to say it, is probably someone like New Mexico. And that's why, no one really wants to come on here and say San Diego.
So 5 is
kind
of like a toss-up. So
it's a bit of a toss-up at that point. I'm not really sure.
Nice.
We need to see how those teams gel. Really.
We'll see. We'll ask you in the middle of the season. See how that's going.
I'll just read you the standings. Keep it simple.
Next question. I like this one. What is the relationship between Phoenix Rising and Galatasaray? Partnership in 2019. Haven't heard much since. What's going on with that?
If you're listening on the audio, I'm just raising my hands.
Little shrug.
It's ultimately very little, from what I can gather.
Because Drogba was supposed to be involved in some tactics changing.
Kai, who's the chairman of the club, he's a big Galatasaray fan. But from what I can gather, there's nothing hugely tangible that is actually going on that's going to impact that.
Yeah, I think he's more involved with Ipswich Town, so he might have forgotten about that relationship. All right, so these next questions to kind of wrap up the segment, they're gonna be quick fire questions. So just let me know what you think right away. All right. So I know you said top 5 as far as the rise, as far as Rising being in the standings, but at the end of the season, what position will Rising be? And Edwin, feel free to chime in.
I'm gonna go with second. Okay, that's really, I'm not going out there. I'm not saying they're going to win the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I think that second place after it might take a little bit of adjustment for this team. There's a fair few new players, and ultimately with a single table now, it's less the kind of competition we saw at times between people like Rising and El Paso and all of that. I mean, Sacramento will be up there this year as well, challenging for that top spot, I'd imagine. It's just, I think you're going to play a lot more games against different teams. It's not going to be just beating up on Vegas and LA Galaxy 2 anymore.
Yeah. LAFC 2, is that what they call it? Those Vegas?
2 LA reserve teams, yes. One of whom just happens to play in Vegas.
All right, Edwin, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, same question?
I'm going to go to the next one. Team MVP.
Ooh, that's a good one. Because, I mean, I think the answer after what you see last season is you would probably go your head to Santi more. But, I mean, I didn't see the first game, obviously. You guys went, and you guys told me he was already promising. It's a guy that we've been talking about his praises all season long.
Don't you steal my pick.
It's Arturo Rodriguez. It's Arturo. I mean, come on. The Magic Man, he literally has the talent for the next level. He just needs to, a little bit, a little bit of finishing, a little bit more flair, and just to have a great season, and he's on to the next level. So I think he's going to mean so much to that midfield. He's going to create opportunities, and he's going to have more of a chance without Solo there. So I would have to go with Arturo.
He absolutely has the ability to do it. I think that if he plays up to his ability, I entirely expect that we're going to see him just pulling the strings in the attack there. Just that ball again. I've said it so many times, but that ball that he played, picking out Marcus Epps in that last friendly was just brilliant. Yeah,
it was fantastic. Golden Boot, Owain.
Oh, now that's a hard one. And I don't really want to commit on this one because ultimately we don't yet know whether Claudio Repetto or Greg Hurst is going to successfully establish themselves as the most common number 9 in the lineup. So I think that ultimately whoever gets the most minutes in that position should probably stake their claim for that. But we just don't know who it is at this point.
Kind of piggybacking on that, you think Santi's goal scoring is going to go down? 16 last season. You think he kind of stays in the same range or below 10?
No, I think he'll probably be in the same range.
Okay.
I just think that I'd probably back the number 9 to, as long as they're getting consistent game time, to pick up more than that, probably.
Best newcomer. So out of all the signings, which guy have you guys been really impressed by?
I'm going to go with Babu. I'm going to go with Babu Kajai. I think that...
I like him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just the way that his pace, dribbling, he kind of basically took the ball from the, Phoenix's back third all the way to the other third of the field. So where else are you going to get that? That's awesome. Just by doing that alone, that really impressed me. So a lot of opportunities with that. So
that's a good shout. I'm gonna go with someone who is not gonna be on the pitch for a load of minutes, but I think he's gonna have an impact. I'm gonna go with Channing Chasen. I think the Valley boy who I think can have like a Ryan Flood, but maybe more minutes contributions. More meaningful minutes off the bench, whether that be in the Open Cup. Because if they do make a run in the Open Cup, they're gonna need some depth. Yeah. They're gonna need some time and minutes. So I think that signing is gonna be underrated. Obviously, he's a younger player, and I'm not putting the pressure to contribute like Santi and Arturo, but I like that signing.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so this is for both of you. I want to put you on the hot seat. Most likely to disappoint this season.
Oh.
A lot of groans
That's
today
hard.
from Owen.
That's hard. Like it is hard to kind of.
I'll just say mine, just to kind of maybe you guys can piggyback off of me. Greg Hurst. I think him coming up a division. I don't know if he's ready, man. Like physically, I don't know. I saw him last Saturday. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of that technical prowess that I've heard about. I don't know if he's gonna be able to keep up, unless he drops down a little bit more for the ball against those like big, powerful center backs. So that's my pick, but I'm hoping for the best.
You know what? I'm gonna really put myself out there with one and say that I'm gonna pick the exact same player that I put for team MVP, because I think that ultimately he's the player who has the most scope to disappoint.
Mm.
And I wonder how much of that is because, of course, we all expect so much from him. We know that he can do more. And if he doesn't take that step up this season, will we be disappointed with him?
That's very fair. That's what I was thinking, but I'm going to go different. Similar reasons, right? You lose Solo, so who's going to fill in that spot? It's going to be Marcus. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say that he's not going to have a good season, but think about it. You have the shoes to fill in.
Asante.
Yeah, he's no Solo, and in the eyes of the fans, that's going to be very disappointing. They're going to expect a lot from him.
The fans are going to be the key on that.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why in the eyes it's going to be the disappointment. When you're filling in a legend shoes like that, anything that's short of what Solo did is going to be seen as a failure in a sense. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible season either.
Awesome, guys. So we will come back to these at the end of the season. We'll super frame it here on Owain just to see which ones he got wrong and which ones. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to be put on the spot.
No, I think those are pretty fair. I think that it's going to be a great season, and so I hope everything that Owain says comes true, which as far as the Rising being at least second. So, all right, y'all. So let's take a quick break. Let's talk to you guys about the latest offer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. So I don't know if you guys caught the Suns game yesterday, but they came close to losing. So I almost lost a lot.
That was a tight game. That was a tight game.
Yeah. So don't do that again, Suns. But anyway, if you guys are into betting, new customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on the NBA with same game parlays. Combine multiple bets for the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is a safe, secure, and reliable sports betting app. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You do have to be 21 and over, Arizona only, gambling problem. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Yeah, man, that got my heart pumping yesterday because I really thought the Suns were gonna lose. So
me and you both. Let me tell you, I was at the game and I had a bet on Chris Paul at DraftKings for points, rebounds.
What happened? Did he bump the ref? What the heck was going on?
The ref bumped into him. It was a soft second technical. I lost money. Let's just say that. So I'm a little down bad, but it was a good game, surprisingly.
No, for sure. I like actually betting while I'm at the arena. Because I feel like I'm actually doing something, not just on the app. So
it gets me more in tune to the game.
Yeah,
weirdly
right.
Enough,
Exactly. All right, y'all. So just remember to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. All right, so switching gears, guys. So I do want to ask you guys a question. We try to keep it loose here at the PHNX Rising Podcast. We try to have a fun segment every week or every show at least. So today's question for you two is what is the most memorable match you watched live? And live can mean in person or TV. And if you guys are watching us right now, let us know what match is your most memorable, and we'll read them off. So who wants to go first?
I think Owen should go first.
All right. So I'm not picking a TV game because I'm not counting those.
You're such a hipster. Come on.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
I'm gonna go with so in person Euro 2016 quarterfinal. Wales 3, Belgium 1.
Oof.
Okay, I think it speaks for itself. Fantastic Cruyff turn goal from Hal Robson-Kanu.
Mm-hmm.
Wales winning a quarterfinal it doesn't happen. So in fact, that is the only time it has ever happened. So might as well enjoy it while we get them.
So you're saying it's not happening soon again? You gotta wait.
I'd be surprised if it did happen soon, but hopefully. I mean, Qatar is only a few months away, and
we'll see.
Got to win that playoff first to get in.
So who's Wales against?
We got Austria, and then the winner of Scotland against Ukraine.
Not a bad draw. It's not Italy. Portugal.
All at home.
Yeah. Well, let's see him in Qatar. Let's go Wales. Edwin.
It's hard because a lot of the games I went to have not been high stake as much as I'd like them to be. I've been to Copa America, like third place games in some group stage. I've been to some Gold Cup games. I've been to a lot of MLS games that were regular season, but a lot of them are Houston Dynamo, which I'm sorry if anyone's a Houston Dynamo fan, but sometimes the football over there is not exciting. So If I were to choose one moment, and I'm not just saying this because we're on the Rising show, but I like to think it is 2020 Western Conference Championship. The Rising secured their spot in the final after a penalties. I mean, it was just an electric moment. The stadium was going crazy, and I remember thinking I was a little worried when it came to penalties. You know, everyone knows about the penalties curse and all that. Mm-hmm. So just being there, it was exciting to see, obviously, and that was the year I was like, they're gonna do it.
I like it. The Copa America ones, you been in South America or the one that was here?
The Centenario, sadly.
Centenario
See,
one?
that's why I didn't include it. If it was a South America one, maybe I include it. But the Centenario, let's be honest, not the best tournament in my opinion. I saw Brazil when there was a very weak Brazil squad. Lose in the group stage. So that's just tells you the state of that tournament. Good.
That's right. For mine, I'm gonna pick an MLS one because I don't know. I think there were high expectations.
Right, cut him off.
Just cut him off.
We know how that's gonna go down with some of our people.
What's it called? It was I think it was like one of the first El Tráficos, if not the first one, between Galaxy and LAFC. And I like LAFC mostly because of Carlos Vela, but it was the game where Ibrahimovic was just signed, and he showed up and he just scored those like 3 bangers like off the book.
Fantastic game.
It was an insane game. Yeah. Me and my roommate were just looking at each other like, this is a FIFA game. Like, this doesn't happen in an actual professional match. And it was just an incredible game. In the first half, completely LAFC. Second half, Ibrahimovic comes in and he just, he sends it home for LA Galaxy. So it was a great game. Let's see some of these comments over here. Edwin, we got Sean hosting New Mexico last year, Santi's 90th minute winner. It's not a bad one. It's pretty good. McVee, 2018 Western Conference Final in OC.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Casino Arizona Field West.
No.
Yeah.
I can't believe they let the fans storm the field. I mean, I don't know if they let them, but they just came in to celebrate, which is pretty awesome.
It's not quite up there with the New Mexico game when they went in the locker room, is it? Though that was a celebration.
Let's see. My favorite Rising versus San Antonio match was in the 2019 3-3 draw in San Antonio. Both teams played at such a high level. Awesome. Thank you, Harry, for that one. Scott Summers, 1979 NASL playoffs. I don't know if I can go that back.
I'm not sure we can quite reach that far back, but we'll take your word for it.
Am I inclined? Is that a Pele game? I don't know. Something with the Cosmos. So
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Saul Bookman, Landon game winner versus Algeria in 2010.
I don't know how that one will go down.
I mean,
who speaks the name? Landon Donovan.
Well, here's the thing. Listen, when you remove who Landon Donovan is, obviously it's a big moment in the Americans fans' history. I'm not a USA soccer fan, but it is a huge moment.
Yeah, I lived in the second floor and I was stomping the whole time because he scored. That was an awesome game. That 2010 World Cup was really good. Galatasaray, Fernavec, Mass 2019. I was in Istanbul. Unfortunately, the Lions lost. Bonnie, thank you for your comment. No, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, let's keep them going. If you remember one of the most memorable match you've watched, let us know in the comments. Appreciate that. All right, y'all. So let's wrap up the show here. We got kind of like a big game. I feel on Saturday. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's some important stuff. Although Edwin, actually, haven't we got one more set of questions? I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Totally forgot.
Well, yeah, we gotta get him. We've got some real hard hitting questions.
Our very own Phoenix Rising Nation
has sent some real question. How will the NISA All Stars fare in USL? Right, I'm just going to impart some wisdom here. I don't know. We don't know. Effectively, we really don't know. They've got some good USL players who have joined. In terms of Antoine Hoppenau, right, is a great signing for them. But we just haven't had enough play between USL and NISA in recent years with the Open Cup not happening. In fact, I don't believe that a NISA team has ever played a USL team in a competitive match. So who knows is a simple answer there. How many soccer goals equal a touchdown? Right. Well, I did some scientific research here, real in-depth scientific research, and I found that for a touchdown, you don't actually have to touch anything down. Therefore, that is invalid. It's worth infinitely small amounts, and therefore each goal is equivalent to an infinite number of touchdowns. Okay? We agree? Good. If I were to surgically replace my hands with feet and then use them to my advantage, would it be allowed? Edwin, can you just check us back up a minute?
Yeah, of course.
So, here we go. Hang on. Waiting on this video. There we go. So I have brought the good book. The laws of the game. And
where'd that come from?
Yeah, this came straight in from Switzerland, this did. On page 99, you see this image. And it shows you that you may not be able to see this. I don't know. But look up page 99 of the laws of the game. It's on the internet. It's free. So anything below there is a handball. But if you notice, his feet are in a different color. I don't know. You be the judge. You be the judge. Now, can we get that last question quickly, Edwin? Will PRFC use one of their remaining roster spots to sign a human baby? I have been speaking around, and I've discovered that Trey Muse's dad is not, unfortunately, available at this time.
I like that they had to specify it was a human baby.
Indeed.
So,
Yeah.
like that one.
Yeah.
But thank you. Appreciate that. And again, you can reach us at our Twitter account, PHNX__rising, if you want more questions.
Double the underscores, double the fun.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. So, yeah, let's move on to the big game of the week, which is the preseason match between Louisville FC and our very own Phoenix Rising. I think this is a pretty exciting game to have this early as far as preseason because Rising will be playing at Louisville July 20th. And that game's on ESPN2. It's going to be a big-time game. So it's pretty good to kind of get acquainted with Louisville, see what's going on with their players, their tactics, all that fun stuff.
But then maybe there's the problem, right? Because it's preseason. These two teams are going to play each other in a big game later in the year. What do we actually see? Are we going to see what they're actually going to come out with? Are they going to, just try different things? Are we going to see maybe a lot of the backup players more? Mm-hmm. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to bring? And that's
for sure
exciting and slightly terrifying at the same time.
I'm sure the coaching staff's feeling the same way. So, Louisville, I wasn't too familiar with them, just to be honest, but in the research, I'm impressed by this team. Is this the team, like when you talk about the USL, is this the team you refer people to? I know we love our Rising, but based on the accolades, based on the consistency, is this the number one team in the USL?
I'm going to say something controversial.
Say it.
Louisville City is the team that Phoenix Rising wants to be.
Oof. I'm out. I don't want to get flamed in the comments.
From a variety of aspects there, from the stadium, from the consistent results, all of those conference finals, they've never missed a conference final,
7 years
they've won
of
the league
existence.
title twice.
Yeah.
I just don't see how you could say anything other than that.
Yeah. No, exactly. All 7 years of their existence, they've been to the Eastern Conference finals, winners in 2017, and of course 2018, and they were runners-up in 2019. So they could have had a three-peat. That's insane to think about. So definitely,
I've been cancelled. There we go.
Jeez.
My controversial comments. Yeah,
bring them on. And like I said earlier in the show, I was really impressed by their stadium, Lynn Family Stadium. That's the name of it. Around 10,000 people can fit in there, but it can be expanded. So I think they kind of left that, in case an MLS bid came knocking. So super impressed by them. I think Phoenix Rising fans should take this team seriously, and keep notes. We might see them, up to 3 times maybe?
Could be. This time, the regular season, and if they both make it there, the final.
Exactly. So pretty great team to have here in the preseason. So, Owain, let's go ahead and talk about them. What are the strengths of this team? What should people be looking for when they catch the game on Saturday? Hopefully live at the stadium with us over there. But what should fans know about Louisville City besides all the great stuff we just talked about?
So in the midfield, they're anchored by 2 guys in terms of Corbin Bone and someone who, those of you who've been watching the Arizona United days will remember in Paulo Del Piccolo, okay? Guy who was back here way back in the day. Both of those have returned. They're also really got a real strong suit up top. Cameron Lancaster, just in terms of USL strikers who are just iconic as USL strikers, Cameron Lancaster is one of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay, 2018 Golden Boot winner. I believe he scored 21 goals last season. He is just fantastic. Now they've lost a couple of guys in terms of Gomez obviously going off to Spain, but then you bring in someone else who we mentioned earlier in this show in terms of
some guy,
Amadou Dia. I think they've got a really strong team there, and I think they're going to compete again this year. Yeah,
the Jonathan Gomez situation with Louisville, he left. If you guys aren't familiar with him, 18-year-old, dual national between Mexico and the U.S. Pretty sure he's going to play for the U.S., but it's okay. We'll support him either way. But he signed with Real Sociedad of Spain. He's actually in their Team B right now, so he's kind of working his way up. But took the league by storm. He was playing in the league when he was 16 years old, kind of matured into this great player for Louisville. And obviously left a big gap for Louisville to fill, especially in that defense. So Amadou Dia, he signed with them. What were your reactions when you heard these news? Because did we even know he was in the market? Like, would Phoenix maybe kind of take a gander at him? What happened there?
So we knew that he was on the market because he'd had his option declined, right? It was one of those things. I think that Amadou. It all comes down to, I guess, what the coaching staff wanted to value, and we know that Amadou is a great player going forward. He always was explosive going forward. What he didn't have necessarily the best time with was actually defending. That was almost his weaker part of his game. He was very much the attacking fullback. And ultimately, I guess the coaching staff decided they wanted to take Babukar.
Yeah. Was it the age, and Jai?
Who knows? There's a lot of different elements that go into this, and ultimately the other thing to remember is that not often when you bring a player back, sometimes that second spell just isn't what the first was.
Yeah.
You remember a lot of things through rose-tinted glasses, and sometimes they don't quite live up to it when they come back.
More connections between Louisville and Rising. Bent Lunt, he played there, so he was there. He was the USL Keeper of the Year for them, so a big connection there. You already mentioned Paulo Del Piccolo. 2014, that's when he was signed. He was actually signed on my birthday, April 10th, so little heads up for you guys. If you guys want to get me something. But yeah, no, a lot of connections. I'm even though they play in different conferences, there's a lot of, like I say, connections and a lot of players back and forth. So pretty great stuff. You did mention Cameron Lancaster, their leading scorer. They did bring someone in, Wilson Harris, from Sporting Kansas City. So he did represent the U.S. national team with the under-20 USA team. He's pretty good. So we'll see how he does. I'm sure he'll get a lot of playing time on Saturday. So looking forward to seeing him. The thing with Louisville that kind of stuck out for me is that they have a lot of USL All-League players. One of the guys was Sean Toch, in the defense. So anything specific as far as the defense, besides Amadou Dia that Rising fans should look forward to?
Well, Toch has been there a while, and he's a very good player. I think ultimately the main thing to just remember is this is going to be a rounded team, right? They don't have the kind of success over the time that they've had without being as such. So I think, depending on what kind of team they put out, we don't really know what kind of a team they're going to put out. Again, they had a friendly on Wednesday, right? So quite how this team wants to rotate things around, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. From what I read and saw on video, they like to press up the pitch. I don't want to talk about this like it's a regular season game, but it's good to know about what they do. So they do try to maintain possession up on the opponent's back third. They use the fullbacks to kind of push up and make sure that they keep possession there. So is this a really good kind of testing ground for Rising as far as, putting that back line, under pressure to kind of see what they're made of?
It's interesting because Rising also like to play a, pressing kind of style of football. Again, this is two teams that very rarely get to play each other. Only have once, really. So it'd just be interesting to see the different styles in a way that you don't normally get to see.
Yeah. Another guy that they signed is from Sporting Kansas City. I think they just rated their entire team over there. Enoch Mashugalasha. He on USL Tactics Twitter, he's described as a one-man counterattack. He's going to be up there on the left-hand side. So looking forward to seeing him. Based on what I saw on the Twitter post, it says fearsome dribbler, true terror on the wing with a mean cross, and with the ability to find his own shot. So that's something that doesn't come often, and that's something that, of course, Louisville will get on the left-hand side. So, any weaknesses that you say? I know you're saying that well-rounded team.
I know. It's hard. It's hard to tell, really, at this point. I still think we need to see them in actual action, really. And again, we haven't even been able to see them preseason-wise. So at this point, it is all up in the air. I'm just gonna wait until we get half an indication on Saturday, depending on who they put out, and then see once the regular season
You think they'll put the starters or whatever for 45 minutes?
Honestly, no idea. No. This is preseason. Who knows? Who knows? We might face a team full of trialists. It could be literally anything.
The Rising fans will be out there in full force. I can tell you that.
Trialist 1, Trialist 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
And Lancaster, just up top for no reason.
Cameron Lancaster in goal.
He wants his goal.
Cameron Lancaster in goal, just in case.
There you go. Yeah. They haven't had much of a preseason from what I saw. They tried to play against Columbus Crew. They got snowed out, so they couldn't play. GCU was close to the public, and then they played El Paso, so they got a win there. So Any other thoughts with Louisville? Anything that we should expect?
Not really. Again, we've got to wait until we can see him in the flesh, I guess.
Exactly. So if you guys haven't purchased your tickets, make sure to get out there. We're gonna be out there. You guys can
We will be.
say hi to Owain over here. Edwin will be there. Trifecto of the PHNX Rising podcast will be there. Let us know. I know you guys know them two already, Edwin and Owain. But if you guys want to meet me too, I don't bite, so you guys can hang out with us over there. Edwin, do we have our shirt little plug-in? Were we able to get that?
We do. Yeah, so I'll set you up right here.
So yeah, if you guys haven't yet, make sure to head over to phnxlocker.com and purchase our PHNX Rising podcast shirt. I think ours is coming on pretty soon. Hopefully by next week, right? So, all right, y'all. So that's pretty much it for today. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys haven't, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Again, it's PHNX__ Rising. And what was it? Double the fun?
Double the underscores, double the fun.
There you go. So make sure to...
Oh, we've got long tan.
Long tan in the house.
For tonight, at least.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We will be there on Saturday, and we will be back on Tuesday at 6 p.m. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
All right. Y'all good.